Coach, can you start with general comments on how the open week went for you and the program?
Yeah, first, just want to give a shout out to all the high school coaches in Mass and New Hampshire starting the playoff runs this week. So wish those guys the best of luck. I think it was a really productive bye week for the most part. We were working to get back healthy, which I think we accomplished that. And then also go back some fundamental football stuff, some drills that we haven't really done since camp, some ball security circuits, tackling circuits. Try to really go back to the basics to try to hone ourselves, get as technically sound as we can for this final push that we got going on. So we practiced Tuesday and Wednesday, Wednesday and Thursday, and then we had Friday, Saturday off, came back on Sunday. Sunday was a big lift, Thursday, and then Tuesday was a big lift. And then we did some pliability stuff Tuesday afternoon with some yoga and stuff like that to get them going. So feel like we're in a good spot. We're getting healthy at the right time, which is great, and just eager to get back to practice.
Any questions for Coach?
So Richmond's offensive quarterback, their top receiver yardage-wise, and their offensive coordinator all came from VMI last year. Do you see that giving them a big advantage? I mean, obviously not everybody came over from one school, but what advantages does that give them?
I think so. I think there's a ton of continuity from the way they call plays to how, Udinsky understands what's expected of him. I think he's elite, tremendously accurate, throws a really good touch on the deep ball. I think it shows that he understands defensive intent, and he's very intelligent. And the reason I say that, because it's evident when you turn on the tape that he gets through progressions. It's not just his first and second read. Finds his checkdowns, finds the running back quite often. I think they have a lot of, they'll have a lot of dynamic talent out wide, and he does a great job distributing the ball and getting it all over. So we certainly have our hands full there. And then I think, they also do a great job protecting him. He gets the ball out of his hands quick too, but they don't take too many sacks. So I think they have a really good offensive line unit. And it's not just, what they can do to you through the air. I think they run the ball efficiently as well. And when you look at a team like that who's up-tempo, they're no huddle, they're up-tempo, they're going to play extremely fast. Usually teams like that don't care about time of possession. It's all about, the number of plays we can get in a game and then how many points you score. But they're close second to us in time of possession as well. So it shows that they're extremely efficient on third down. They control the game. So yeah, they're explosive.
In terms of slowing down the quarterback, Rick, maybe you can speak from experience. What bothered you more, with guys flying around you, defenders, or maybe a moment of confusion with the coverage, that causes him? I know it's probably a little of both, but
yeah, I would say it is a little bit of both. You got to be careful with a veteran quarterback like this. If you pressure him too much, he kind of understands what you're going to do. He's going to get the ball out. In particular, if we're going to play man pressure, he could beat you with their weapons on the perimeter. I think we're going to have to do that some. Try to make him feel our presence a little bit and pressure him, but also I think it's really imperative for the guys on the back end, in particular the corners and safeties, to be in lockstep with each other and disguise the coverages. Make quarters press look like cover two, and make quarters look like cover one, and rotate late and those sort of things. So if we can work hard to disguise them and make him think a little bit longer, then it's going to be allow our defensive ends to get up the field and rush the passer. So I think we have to play complementary football in terms of the guys at the third level, making sure to make it difficult for what it looks like for him pre-snap, and then giving the guys up front a little extra time to rush him.
But on the other side?
On the other side of the ball, they're really good defensively. They're tops. I think they're second in scoring defense and total defense. They tackle extremely well. Overall, they're tops in the conference and tops in the country in turnover margin. So they're getting the ball out at a high clip, and they protect it extremely well on offense. So, they'll make you be patient. Where they're going to play a lot of zone coverage on first and second down. They will pressure you. It hasn't been a high tendency going into this game. I know they pressured us a lot more than they showed last year. So we have to be ready for that with some corner fire and some different looks that they hadn't shown. So I just think from Tristan Wheeler to all the guys that they have there, Jeremiah Grant, that they're very good. They're detailed. They're sound. They can rush the passer. And I think their secondary is elite as well. So when they do get in the red zone and they do get in third and medium to short situations when they want to pressure you and play man, they feel like they have the guys, out back that can lock you up as well. So, there's not many weaknesses. We're looking hard to kind of find some stuff in our advantage, and there's a few things we like, but, I think ultimately we got to play clean, and, whoever wins the turnover battle this week, I think is going to have a really good chance to win.
With the Elon game, you guys didn't turn the ball over once and
Got one, yeah.
Yeah, that was the cleanest I think you played on offense.
Yeah.
Was there something different about that game, or was it just executing, taking care of the ball?
Talked about it. That is similar like the message this week that we have to, ball is the program's our motto. We got to protect it. And they did such a good job. Elon did of like creating fumbles and all that thing. So for us, we added, for the bye week, it came at a good time because we added a couple days of ball security circuits, turnover circuits on defense, working, stripping it, punching the ball out, making contested catches with the secondary and stuff like that. So we worked hard on it in the offseason. In the off week. And then we added an extra day of kind of preparation this week on it as well. There were some pre-practice things.
You had a few guys in the receiving core that were out on the Elon game. You had a few guys step up. DJ Lincoln comes to mind immediately. Does it make more fun when you're getting ready to scheme offensively when you have 6 or 7 guys that can really make an impact in the passing game?
Yeah, I think that's what we did last night after watching practice. Was went back through the first and second down calls. Myself, Coach Belcher, and Coach Scott, and Coach Barnett, and really put the receivers in certain spots, so 80 at Z, so we're going to put Brian at the field for a certain number of plays, and then we want DJ to be the focal point on this play. And I think at this this point in the year, it's not just the scheme that we're rolling out. I think it's making sure we do a great job of putting our guys in the best possible situation to succeed. Certain route combinations that they've shown to do well at a high clip during practice, and so those are some of the things kind of going down the stretch that's going to be extremely important on our end as an offensive staff to make sure that those guys are in the best possible situation to go out there and contribute and make plays on game day.
Just follow up on that. Like earlier in the season, you said you guys have made the offense a little simplify things a little bit.
Yeah.
Has there been an evolution as you've seen what guys are able to do?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you look at last week, in particular on third down, we're working to have similar concepts show up over and over, just out of different personnel groups, different shapes, different formations. Coach Scott does a great job. If something works early in the game, he has no problem going back with it. We called the same play on third down 4 times last week and 2 weeks ago, and Max hit 4 different receivers. So I think it helps to have a veteran quarterback like Max who processes information, understands which route works versus which defensive coverage, which is great. So yeah, it's just I think now we have a large sample size of things our guys do well, and then to make sure we're simple enough where our guys can execute, but creative enough where we don't have too many tendencies.
You talk for a second. Osho's going to be in here after. Talk about the kind of season he's had and the development of the offensive line. How do you feel?
He's been tremendous. I think, independent of his physical attributes and what he's done, first and foremost, I think he's stepped up as a leader. Having Matt Masher being a 3-year starter at center, we were pretty nervous about filling that void, who was going to step into that role. We knew Osho had the ability, physically, but, could he process information in real time? We hadn't seen him do it. We thought he could. We gave him the vote of confidence to play that position. It's so important for us. They make all the calls, the ID, the fronts, and the pass and the run game. And I think he's really done a great job in his preparation and his film study. He's in there all the time. I think he's someone like David Perry has grown up a lot, and I think that's because of the leadership of Osho. He's helping him with the calls, making sure he understands the combos and all those things. I think the offensive line in general is much improved. There's a lot of continuity, some guys that have played some meaningful football over the last few years, and was happy that they came back. I think, Coach Scott, his verbiage and how he ID'd some stuff was a little bit different than we've done in the past. So, we kind of implemented a new offense. Some elements of it were new in the spring and then going into the summer and then ultimately fall camp. So this is the first time we unveiled it this year. So I think it was an evolution of it. And it starts with the center position and making sure we get all 5 guys on the same page.
How many guys have been working in there? Matt Marvin's played some.
Matt's played some. So Matt's gone in there. Obviously, Oni's been starting. David's been starting. We've got in, I'm blanking right now. 2 other guys. Mason Davis has got in there. Yeah, so there's been 8 guys that have rotated in. Aiden Mishu's been someone I think has done a great job getting in there for 4 or 5 series a game. You know.
Who's been basically been the core.
Yeah, those core, and then 3 other guys have been rotating in consistently. Yeah.
All right, we're joined by Noah Palm. So Noah, if you could start, just general comments on what the off week did for you and your body in preparation.
The off week was definitely a good week to get healthier, and we had a great yoga session with one of the coaches' wives. She ran it, and we had a great time, and that definitely helped. And just a week, having an off week, get our legs rested, a couple of days of practice, but it's just to not let us get in a slump, and I think it was great.
All right, questions for Noah?
You want to talk about the secondary and the challenges this week? It looks like a pretty different Richmond offense.
Yeah, they have very many talented players out wide, and I think that we just have to come ready to play and make minimal mistakes.
So when you're a defensive back, you see like a bunch of guys that can catch the ball. What's your mentality getting ready for a week like that? No, it's probably gonna be busy back there.
We just have to have good eyes back there, and just know that we just gotta be ready for anything, and yeah.
You've really had your playing time. It seems like from last year, you got thrown into the fire when there was a bunch of injuries, but played well. And then this year, it seems like every time you're out there, you're making an impact. What have you done to kind of get yourself up a level?
Just taking it to the next step and just watching more film, getting more film in with Pop and on Mondays, and just focusing more on football and just kind of grinding more in the off season to get better now.
More time with Pop Bush.
Yeah.
What type of stuff is he able to help you? What's he been able to do for you?
He just opens my eyes more in film, because he's been obviously watching film more than me. So he definitely shows me things that he sees. So yeah.
No, I'm in late, so if you're repeating stuff, I apologize. But Udinski, the quarterback you guys will be facing this week, as good as you faced this year, or what are your thoughts on him and how to maybe confuse him and slow him down a little bit?
He is very good. He's going to be one of the best quarterbacks we've seen, maybe one of the best that we've seen so far. And I think if we can just get him out of his comfort zone a little with our D-line, with Dylan Ruiz and Josiah off the edges, to get him a little scared back there, I think that would be great.
How do you feel you've played this season? What do you like about what you've done and what needs work next year?
Definitely, I've just done better with my eyes, and I think that's always something that you could work on. So I think done a pretty good job tackling and just doing my assignments.
Osho, if you can begin with just general comments on how the off week worked for you physically and mentally.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a productive week. We got a couple days in on the field, a couple good lifts in, and just recovery. It's my first time having a bye week this late in my 4 or 5 years here, so it was a little bit of a switch up. And I think the coaching staff, Santos, the weight room, training room, everybody included, kind of did a good job getting us back to where we need to be. Looking into the biggest week of the season so far. I mean, I know we've been saying that the last couple of weeks, but I think it rings true for sure this week with just the playoff and the conference implications. I felt like it was important for us to get recovered.
Questions for Osho?
Your coach talked about how you've developed as a leader, and maybe you can talk a little bit about following Matt and
Sure.
becoming the center and the guy.
Yeah.
How have you approached it?
Yeah, I kind of bounced around the last couple of years on the line, just kind of filling in wherever needed. When Mill left, I made the move out to left tackle for the spring season. Only got 1 game in, but behind the scenes, I know it wasn't seen, but I did a full year out there. So and then moved back to guard and back to center, which kind of just gave me a good feel for what's going on across the whole line. And I feel like coming back to center, which is what I came in at, it kind of worked out in my favor because I can kind of give a little insight to everywhere with the young guys, new guys, how the scheme, how the pieces fit together. And I just feel like we've come together chemistry-wise, and not just me, but Flynn, Oni. I feel like we got a good core group of leaders within a group. And it kind of just helps us out. I wouldn't say I'm the main leader, but I don't have no problem taking charge or saying what needs to be said in any given moment. And I just feel like being a center, you're kind of the vocal point within the offensive line and the quarterback, behind the quarterback. So I just feel like it was kind of my job, and I'm glad to hear I've been doing an all right job.
What's the thing about playing center that the toughest part maybe that people might not think about?
It's just kind of a lot of moving parts. You're always going to see something that you're not ready for, and it's kind of on your plate to figure out what you got to do and get everybody on the right page and communicating when it gets loud and just the little workings of it. I mean, the position itself isn't too taxing. You kind of got two people to your left and two people to your right to help you. But yeah, just getting everybody on the same page and it's kind of things where it's like the play doesn't work and it looks like somebody's unblocked. It's usually on the center because the right side's going to somebody, the left side's going to somebody else, and the guy in the middle gets to make the play. So just communication, it's the big thing, and it's not something I struggle with specifically, but it's just in key moments it's important to make sure, take a second and make sure everybody's on the same page.
So it's like trying to stay organized while 300-pound guys are trying to ball.
Yeah, and just having to get the ball back and making sure the people behind you hear you. And we do a lot with the blocking with the wideouts now, so just making sure everybody's clued into the point, that's really the biggest thing.
What about specifically this week? What kind of problems did these that Richmond presented?
Richmond's it's a solid team. They're good in all three phases. I feel like we have that in common with them. And they don't make a lot of mistakes up front, you know what I'm saying? They're coached well, and they make an emphasis about playing their gap and not getting into bad positions. So you kind of got to almost be perfect to make things work because they're not going to make mistakes. So you kind of got to match what they're doing and kind of try to get them out of sorts to get some positive plays going and then build some momentum. And kind of it's a team you got to kind of get them on their heels, kind of get them rolling and go from there.
What are you maybe most proud about as far as where things stand right now in the season?
This is going to sound a little selfish, but probably the offensive line play. The last couple of years, especially since I've been here, it's kind of been a sore point to a lot of people that don't really know what's going on with the scheme and kind of with everything that's going on behind the scenes. So it's kind of easy to put the blame on us. And just I feel like the way we've been able to play as a whole group, not just individually. I know Flint's had success, and you've had guys here and there, Mash, and stuff like that have been able to be successful. But as a group, I feel like this is the best we've looked in a long time, and I feel like that's an achievement of us personally, of Scott. I feel like he's got us going on the right page. And then just Max and everybody on the offense giving us confidence. Dylan helps us out, makes us look a little better than we might actually be. But yeah, just in pass protection and in the run game, moving guys. We're kind of an undersized group as far as the league goes. But I feel like you can't look over us because, you know what I'm saying, we get it in.
Well, I mean, we all know offensive line is the key to the most important position on the team, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm glad you said that.
Why has the group been better this year than previous years? Can you put your finger on anything?
I feel like it's just the pieces that we got kind of being in the right places. You know, you got to kind of play to your strengths with what you got. And the last couple of years, I feel like a couple people haven't really been able to use their strengths as much, whether it be playing time or in the positions they're not the best at. And I feel like we kind of just, it's like a puzzle. If you put the puzzle together the right way, you know what I'm saying, you get to look at a pretty picture, whereas if the pieces aren't really fitting in together, then you got some more work to do. So, I mean, Oni and Bake, they've been playing great. DP stepped into his own, Flynn doing what he do. And I've been able to do a little bit to make sure everybody's on the same page. So I feel like it's just all five of us working together. I feel like we've really been in one. We got some hidden communication, and you can kind of just feel it. Like, I don't know if any of y'all play offensive line, but it's just things where a twist or something comes and you just got trust for the dude next to you, where you just let that guy go and you know the next person's coming over and you're not thinking twice that he's got your back. It's different, because whereas wideout, you can kind of make it happen on your own. Offensive line, you kind of got to be 5 people playing as one. And I feel like we've been able to do that with some success this year.
Do you have any specific role models growing up?
So I actually wasn't a football guy growing up. I played a lot of basketball, and my dad had me in soccer, basically up until high school. So I would just say probably my mom, probably my biggest role model. She came here from Maine, stopped in Lowell, and kind of fell out of engineering and bet on herself in the restaurant business, and she's kind of just been a boss. Since I've been a little kid, I've seen her, you know what I'm saying, throw people out the kitchen, double my size. So it's like, she kind of just let me know, puts all my confidence. She's my biggest fan, and kind of just let me know that if you put your mind to something, put the work in, head down, good things will come your way.
What about, you talk about taking a break and healing some bodies and stuff like that. Mentally, where's the team at? And it seems like it is a good time for a break going into this last stretch. Yeah,
I think it was, looking at it in the beginning of the season, it was kind of like, dang, like we kind of got to play a lot of games before we get a break. But looking back on it now, I feel like it taught us how to kind of play through some pain and play through some adversity without an end game really in there. So when we dropped that one at NC Central, and then we kind of got humbled pretty well at the Western Michigan game, it was like, you don't have a bye week coming up to get your mind right. You kind of got to just roll with the punches and put your head down and keep working and try to get back on the right track. So the fact that we were kind of able to do that, it kind of let us build some confidence back up. And not to say that we're not where we're supposed to be, but I feel like everybody still kind of has that chip on their shoulder, and they didn't fall off given the bye week. If anything, we just added another one. So I'm excited to play this game, and I'm glad that we were able to get back healthy. You know, a couple guys were kind of banged up. So I'm glad that we got the couple extra days to get them back on the right track.
Anything else for Osho? Great. Thank you, sir.
For sure.